Everybody wants to be in their Beyoncé season. Big stage, wind machine, expansion, visibility, arena energy, scaling, launching, growing, doing the most in the best way, respectfully. But sometimes you're actually in a Solange season. No, slower, steadier, intentional, rooted. Think less stadium tour and more seat at the table. See what I did there? But here's the thing, that is not a downgrade. If you are a high capacity woman and lately you've been feeling like, why does this feel so hard? Or just like harder than it should, it might not be burnout and it might not be laziness. You just might be building in the wrong season. The timing is off. And today, bestie, I'm gonna help you figure out which one you're in before you even think about setting another goal. When I say building in the wrong season, I do not mean that you failed. I actually mean something a lot more simpler. Think about it. In nature, there's seasons, and each season has activities that it's suited for. You don't plant seeds in winter, you don't harvest in spring, and you wouldn't like prune your plants in the middle of full bloom. The timing matters to things. And the same is true for our personal and professional lives. We all move through seasons that are better suited for certain activities. So some seasons are for planting, some are for like strengthening our roots, some are for growth and visibility. And then there's other seasons where it's just like, I'm just trying to protect what's flourishing right now. One, trying to build and scale when you just need stability in your life. Forcing visibility when you just need some restoration. Adding another goal when you just need some reinforcements to your current foundation. Or trying to reinvent yourself for the 50, 11 million, 100th time when you really just need refinement at this point. So hear me, it is not that you're incapable. It is that your activities aren't matching the phase that you're in. And when you have that type of misalignment, it is the perfect trifecta for pressure, frustration, am I making a triangle? And that nasty self-doubt, there we go, to ruin and wreak havoc. So when our efforts align with our season, we just grow more naturally. And that's really what we're aiming for here. We're looking for natural growth and alignment, not pressure and not force. Okay, so let me give you like a real example. So last year, when I started this YouTube channel, I was like, this is the year for visibility. This is your year for expansion, girl. And you're gonna be posting on YouTube once a week. You're gonna also start your new TikTok. You're gonna be posting your TikTok like 4 times a week. And it was really good. There was visibility, there was growth, there was ideas, opportunities were actually coming in. And everything started feeling so heavy. Like there was this striving to produce as opposed to the joy of producing. And it really was because I was also planning a wedding at the same time. And when I started this YouTube channel, I was just in the initial phase of planning the wedding. So it was kind of like everything was coming to a head. As I started really putting more energy in the YouTube, all the details for the wedding started expanding and needing more attention. And I was like, something's got to give. So I had to pause and I canceled a few commitments on the personal side and I had to clean up my back end. I was over editing. Sure you can relate. I was over planning every single episode down to the T. And I also just simplified my process. I simplified my weekly to do list. If you were in a rooting season, you have clarity. Your systems are just very weak. So you're really just relying on like your willpower to like white knuckle it through. Your foundation really just needs some strengthening at this point though. Okay, so expanding. This is a fun one. So at this point, your momentum is rising. You are visibility ready, but you want your growth to feel aligned and like not chaotic and frantic and burnout. And in this season, baby, you need adjustments, not expansion. How do you know that you're in a recalibrating season? Let's think friction. You're overthinking. Your calendar is a way louder than your intuition right now. I should probably try to put them on the screen somewhere. So there's recalibrating. There, I'm pointing because I imagine I'll put them on the screen. But there's recalibrating, there's rooting, there's sustaining, and then there's expanding. And each season requires a different set of skills and strategies. I had to simplify. I had to figure out how I can do less, but still keep the same momentum. And honestly, after I made those slight changes, my energy came back for what I was actually doing. This used to be a space that I was like excited about and really like wanting to pioneer for myself. And it became such a drain and a dread, and it felt like it was a time suck for me. And like I said, when I made those changes, I went from expansion, which I thought I was in, to I was actually recalibrating. And I just needed to make a few slight shifts and changes to what I already had in place. Each season supports a different type of growth. Okay, so here are 4 seasons that I see over and over and over again. And neither one is like better than the other. They just require different strategies for that season. Now, I see a lot of creators get into this sustaining. So, if you're in a sustaining season, things are working. Congratulations. But we have the tendency to want to like reinvent ourselves because we're bored, as opposed to refining what is already working. So, when you correctly name your season, you can then apply the right strategy. And that's when momentum starts to build. And if you want to see what season you're in, I created a quiz to help you with that. It is free and it'll help you understand where your clarity blockers are, where your energy is leaking. I'll link it in the description below, but I check that out. Here is the biggest mistake that I see high capacity women making. We set ambitious, big goals without checking our season first. And that's just because we're wired to push. We're go getters. We decide this is the year I'm going to start the business, scale the business, grow my Instagram account, try to grow on YouTube. This is the year I want to start a family. I want to have a baby. I'm going to write the book. I'm going to open the store. I'm going to whatever the creative project or whatever it is that you're working on is, we decide this is the year and time to do it, as opposed to, do I have the capacity? Do I have the capacity? Do I have the capacity to do this thing? Sorry to be so dramatic, y'all, but do you have the capacity? Clarifying question. Do you have the capacity right now to do that? Like for me, starting this YouTube channel in the middle of so many big life transitions sounded like an amazing idea. I was like, I'm going to have so much content to talk about on YouTube and to film. And I completely underestimated how much planning goes into your YouTube videos, how much research I had to do because I was like new in this platform. So it's not just popping up my camera and being like blah, 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 blah. And even just how my nervous system might have needed to adjust to being visible in this way. So it wasn't that I couldn't do it. When I looked at everything else that I had going on, when I got in the thick of it, I didn't have the capacity right then to do what I was trying to do. So, I just felt burnt out and overwhelmed. Maybe you can relate. You need to recalibrate and just make some tweaks to your system, but you set these big expansion goals to like scale or double something, you're going to end up feeling behind. Just like if you need to root down and build some structure out, but you think that you will need to be visible and you need more visibility on what you're doing, you can really start to feel overwhelmed. And if you are sustaining, which means you are reaping your harvest, you're in your leadership season, but you have the urge to like reinvent yourself all of a sudden, that can feel very frustrating, that tension. And then you end up questioning yourself, like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Should I just push harder? And it's not because you failed, it's because the prescription didn't match the phase you're in. Your strategy was off. And so ambition is not the problem. Being misaligned now, that is. So when you start matching ambition to the season that you're in, that really makes all the difference between pressure and momentum. Here's where it gets very real, and the yogi in me is gonna come out. I'm gonna hold your hand, and I need us all to take a collective deep breath. Take a big inhale through the nose, hold that breath, and then exhale it out the mouth. Open your eyes if they were closed. I need you to take out your journal, take out a pen, the notes app on your phone. We have some tough questions that I need you to answer first. Do I currently feel friction or do I feel flow? Do I need structure or do I need space? Am I craving stability or do I need visibility? Or do I need to simplify or amplify? Now, I want you to be brutally honest with yourself when answering these questions. Like my grandma used to say, tell the truth and shame the devil. So I want you just to think, we're not talking aspirational. We're not talking about what season you used to be in. We're talking about currently, right now. Answer those questions from your current space. Like I said, everybody wants to be Beyoncé, but sometimes you're just in a Solange season. And sometimes I think that might be better. A Solange season actually builds the depth that a Beyoncé season can stand on. Okay, let's do a quick nervous system check here. I've said a lot. When you think about expanding, does your body feel open to it? Or does it tight? Does your booty clench up a little bit? When you imagine simplifying, you feel low-key relieved, or are you feeling some resistance towards it? And the goal here is we want honest answers and honest responses, because your nervous system will tell you the truth way quicker than your ego will. Clarity only works if you're honest. You cannot build alignment on denial. Okay, I love this part. So here's how this really becomes practical. When I think about how I plan my week, I do not start with my list of goals first. I think about what season I'm in. I need to locate myself and identify that first. So if I'm in a recalibrating season, I'm deleting before I add anything to my calendar. I'm deleting a commitment, a priority, an email request. I'm taking something off my plate. Okay, so if I'm in a rooting season, I'm looking to strengthen my routines. So I'm looking at the new routines or habits that I've already started putting in place and seeing where can I like lean into a little bit more. So for me, I have a list, it's just a Google Doc of the habits that I'm trying to implement or the new things that I'm trying to learn and routines I'm trying to get. At the top of every Monday or Sunday, I'll look at that sheet and I'll just see, is there a way that I can get 1% better with this routine or with building this habit? And if I'm in an expanding season, I am leaning all the way into being visible. And so again, what that might look like is setting some audacious like goals and things that I have. So making sure that I'm reaching out, making sure that I'm creating the videos, making sure that I'm posting the content, that I'm writing the things, that I'm attending the events. Whatever that expansion season looks like for you, just making sure that I am taking the steps needed to be visible. All about visibility. I'm prioritizing the visibility. And if I'm in a sustaining type of season, when I go to plan my week, I look to protect the things that are working. So sometimes when you get into a flow or a rhythm, eventually you might feel a little bit bored. That does not mean you need to switch it up. That means I need to look at what's actually working. If something isn't working, I make the tweak and I make the adjustment. But when it is, I just look at how I can, again, make it 1% better. Sustaining is also when you really lean into your leadership abilities here. You've grown, you have wisdom under your belt. That's where we want to lean into, not reinventing everything. So this has really helped me remove some of that unnecessary pressure that I start to feel from this like long list of goals and to-do lists that I have. And it's helped me to realistically be able to meet the challenges. So I've been able to stop performing the wrong version of myself for the season that I'm in. So seasonal awareness changes how you plan. And that really changes everything. Before you begin to set new goals, pause, stop, and think about what season you're in first. Season first, goal second. Because when your goals begin to align with your season, you feel energized, you feel stabilized, you feel excited, you feel empowered. And most of all, you feel peaceful doing it. And we are in this together. So if you still need help figuring out what season you're in, take my clarity quiz, Less Chaos, More Clarity. I've linked it below and it'll help you start taking action. I would love it if you commented your season below. And if you want a full video, I didn't even think about this. If you want a full video on how I like plan my week, especially by season, also let me know in the comments. I'd love to do that for you guys. And until next time, less chaos, more clarity is what I wish for you in your life. It all starts by watching this next video, because when you put what you learned here into practice with what that video has, it just makes it all the more powerful.